And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Moonrakers. Now, Moonrakers is a game that I initially knew about way back when it was on Kickstarter because they paid us to do a playthrough of it, and I really enjoyed it. I look forward to the final product, which came through, and we actually played it again during our Spiel Digital. So keep that in mind when you watch this review, but you should know by now that that doesn't affect me at all. Moonrakers is a deck building game in which you are trying to go out on missions, but you can't do it alone. So you got to convince everyone else at the table to join you, or at least a few of the people at the table to join you. So it's a deck building negotiation game, of which I really can't think of any other ones that are out there. That doesn't mean it's good. Let's find out. As you can see, there's a lot of cards out there. Players are going to be starting with a deck of cards, which is going to include thrusters, reactors, shields, misses, and damage cards. You're going to be shuffling this deck of cards. This is your deck that's going to grow and expand over the course of the game. And you're going to be drawing a hand of 5 cards here. And then players are going to take turns around the table being the mission leader. Now, when you're the mission leader, you can decide to stay at home, which will give you a credit. You'll start the game with some credits, but this gives you money, and you'll be able to buy cards at the end of the turn. You buy cards at the end of the turn no matter what you decide to do. You also will draw 2 objective cards and keep 1. These are ways that you can get prestige. You want to be the first one to get 10 prestige. So this one says, if I play at least 3 shield cards in the same contract to get a prestige, or play at least 3 thruster cards in the same contract. So I might go, I'll do the shield one. I'll keep this one at the end of my turn. And you can replace one of these contract cards if you want to. So that's kind of almost a passing turn. But what you'll do most of the turn is you're going to look at these contract cards. You're going to pick one, and you're going to attempt to accomplish it. Before you do that, you're going to talk to everybody else. Maybe people want to join you to help you accomplish it. There's a lot of cards that you probably can't do on your own. So let's say I pick this stim run here. I'm going to look at what it offers me. So it's going to give 1 prestige point and 2 credits as a reward. You can see this one gives no prestige points, 3 credits. This one here gives 3 prestige points and 2 credits. And there are some pretty big ones in the deck that will show up. This one here gives 5 prestige points and 12 credits. There's also a certain number at the bottom of hazard dice that you're going to roll. Hazard dice, whoever rolls them is going to lose prestige, 1 or 2, if they roll the symbols on them, unless they block them with shields. So that's what the rewards give you. Then there's hazard dice, and then this is the requirements here. This means we need to play 2 thrusters and 1 reactor. So it's very simple, but I'm going to ask people possibly if they'll help me. So maybe in this circumstance, I ask people, and Maggie finally says she'll help me. All right, fine. So I have Maggie go first. Now, each person can play 1 card from their hand, 1 action, unless you play a reactor. A reactor gives you 2 more actions, and then I can play a reactor on top of that if I have another one in my hand. If you play a thruster, you'll draw extra cards. Remembering, of course, that when you play these, not only do they give you the extra actions and the extra cards, but they do count towards the symbols that are needed on the card. Each shield that you play allows you to block 1 hazard if you roll on the dice. And damage cards don't really do anything, but they're going to provide a certain number of damage when you, for a lot of the missions, are going to require damage. So I say, Maggie, you go first. Maybe she plays 1 or 2 of the cards, and then I go and I play the other cards. Or I could go first and then have her go. Now, she could betray me and not play any of the cards that are needed, and then the mission is a failure. But the fact of the matter is, before the mission goes, we have to kind of make a deal as to who's going to get the points, who's going to get the money, and who's going to roll the hazard dice. So it might be, look, Maggie, I want the point, but I'll also roll the hazard dice because I have a defensive card in my hand, but I'll give you both the coins if you come. You make whatever deal it is. If you're successful, then everyone gets the rewards of their deals. But the hazard dice are going to be rolled regardless, and the cards that you play and the cards you don't play are going to be discarded. And so that's how a mission works. Now, if you pick a mission and you can't get anyone to join you on that mission and you need people to join you, then you can pick another mission. And if no one joins you in that one, you can try a solo mission, or you can simply just stay at the base and wait. Now, I said at the end of your turn, you can buy. And so there are two different things to buy. You can buy crew manifest, crew cards. Now, crew cards are going to go in your deck. At the end of your turn, you're going to discard all your cards. When you run out of cards to draw, you'll shuffle. And so these cards can be pretty neat cards that you can get. This one you see cost 4 credits to take it. But this lets me trash a card from my hand. It's out of the deck permanently. But then I can subtract any 2 from a requirement. And then it gives me another action I can play. While this one here lets me negate 1 hazard die, just like a shield. But it gets rid of a whole die, not a symbol. And it also plays as damage equal to the hazard negated. So you can see these are pretty awesome. And they cost a certain number of credits. You can also buy ship parts. Each player has their own board here, where they have their own ship. This tells you your starting cards that you have. But while I can play a part, you can have up to 4 ship parts in your deck. And they give you a special ability that says, as an action, one of the actions you play, you can discard 2 cards of any type to use as a shield. That's pretty neat. But also, when you buy one of these ship parts, it gives you another card for your deck, or maybe more than one. Like, for example, this adds another shield card to my deck. If I took this one here, this one adds 2 1-damage cards to my deck and a miss card, which isn't great, maybe, but I can now trash a damage from my hand. And now the requirements for damage is 3 less. This one here is pretty cool because it gives me a damage 2 card in my deck, and it also lets me discard a damage 1 card from my hand for +2 actions. And every part, as far as I know, is completely different, and they're going to make you have special abilities and help you also customize your deck. Like this one here, for example, gives you 2 more thruster cards in your deck. So that's how you get more cards in your deck, by buying these parts. That's pretty much the whole game. As you accomplish missions, you'll be moving up on the prestige, occasionally moving down when the hazard dice cause it, and the first person to get to 10 is going to be the winner. I'm a big fan of the quality of this game. Now, realize I have the deluxe Kickstarter version, which means I have metal coins and a few other upgrades, but the artwork on the cards, which I'm showing you here, and the quality of the cards is good. I really like that. I like the artwork on the crew. You know, it's, I don't know, just has a very stylistic look to it, which makes me happy. Also, the background color tells you what kind of thing that is. So there's a person here who's going to be a damage. Play all the damage cards in your hand without using an action. That's really cool. All the symbology is really clear. Not only is it very clearly colored, but there's also different symbols for it. Your ships, you have these ships that move. They're just really there to keep track of you moving on the prestige track. And I will say that the purple one tends to look like a handbag. They're okay. They're maybe my least favorite thing about the game. But other than that, I don't have any problem with the game. I'm really happy with the rule book. Well, maybe I don't know that they need big blank pages in between, the different sections, but that's a stylistic choice. But it really clearly explains the game. Overall, I'm very impressed with the components of this game. Now, Moonrakers is a game that's a negotiation game, so therefore it's not going to be good unless you play with at least 3 players. The time length here in the box says 1 to 2 hours. It says 1 to 5 players. I haven't played the solo thing, but this is definitely one of those ones where I want to play with the maximum if I can pull it off. 4 is fine. 3 and 4 are good. Don't get me wrong. In fact, you can see us playing a 3-player game and a 4-player game on our channel. But 5 players is like, wow, there's just more people that you can negotiate with, and that makes me happy. So one of my favorite games is Cosmic Encounter, which has a lot of negotiating in it. Hey, we'll do this together, we'll go back and forth. You don't know what cards I have, but we can talk about the cards. So there's some similarities to Cosmic here with Moonrakers. Moonrakers is also a deck building game. So it's 2 mechanisms that I enjoy mashing those together. So does that mean I automatically like the game? It doesn't mean that, but I do like the game. But there's a couple reasons for that. I like the negotiation. Now, as with any negotiation game, it could drag down where we sit there and we talk forever and ever about who's going to take this and do that. But I haven't seen it happen in the games that I've been in yet. It is interesting because there are different things to negotiate. You can't really negotiate future or past stuff. You're negotiating with the rewards right now. And there are both good rewards and bad rewards. And I might say, look, just let me come along. I'll take the hazard die because I got a defense card and I'll do that. I won't help with the mission, but I'll take the damage. Well, what do you want from that? Well, give me some coins. Well, we don't want to give you coins. So there's a little bit of that. And I like that a lot. But you know, the number one thing I like about Moonrakers is that I like the customization of it. When I play Dominion, which is the first deck builder, my favorite card in Dominion is a promo card called Black Market. And Black Market, there's a deck of, it lets you use every other card that's not in the game. When you play Black Market, you draw one, and then you put that in your deck. And you're the only person with that card. I love that. I love being the only person with a card. Moonrakers, that's what it's about. You're the only person with some of these crew. You get a crew person, you're the only person who has that thing. And as you then get the different ship parts, you are so different than everybody else. Yes, everybody has the action cards and the thruster cards and the shield cards and so on. But if I have a crew member or two crew members and a couple ship parts and nobody else has them, I'm unique. I can be like, listen, I can bring a lot of firepower to this. You know I can, because that's how I built my ship. So you want me on board. And I find that to be really intriguing and fun. And you know, I look at this and the game is fine as is, but if they made packs of more crew members and more ship parts, I'd be like, ooh, give them to me. You know, because that's just neat. They can be thrown right in and I got more stuff. The way the deck building is done is differently. You don't buy more cards. Well, you buy the crew cards, but to get the normal cards in your deck, you buy a ship part, which gives you some of those cards. So that's really fascinating how that works, and it makes the game feel different than other games. And I think that's one of the qualifications here of Moonrakers, is it feels different in a crowded market where there's a lot of games that are out there that are doing these things. There's a lot of deck building games. We've seen a resurgence in 2020 of deck building games that do different things. So this is a deck building game that comes in with a negotiation factor and unique structure. I like both those things. Now, if you're not a fan of negotiation, I think you should back off Moonrakers. You probably won't like it. You could try to do I'll do this stuff by myself, but I don't think it will work. You can do it a few missions that way, but the people who do work together are going to vastly surpass you. So this is a game for people like that. I think if you like Cosmic Encounter, you'll like Moonrakers. If you like deck building, that's not necessarily the correlation, because again, I think the negotiation is the strongest point of this game. But for people who like that sort of thing, this is a very in-depth one. I'm interested on everybody's turns. Now, yes, there could be the whole, you know, Roy and Martha are working together and won't let me be involved. Like, now I hope you fail. You know, you can only play one card, but once you start playing the actions, you can build up and put out a whole lot of cards. The game just gets better and better as it spirals to a conclusion. And that's something I like a lot. So Moonrakers, a very fun game. I recommend it, especially if you like negotiation. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time on the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment approved.